Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Malcolm Edwards and I will be your chairman for this evening, and welcome to the British Players Online Pandemic Spectacular. Held on the silver screen of Serendipity, this laptop of light-hearted lyrics and laughter, where the management has co-opted curvaceous, charismatic, quirky courtesans into a celestial celebration of quite colossal capacity. We have a chef, we have a cheeky chappie, we have children, all assembled for your amusement, amazement and attention. Indeed, we thank you for joining us during this holiday season, a holiday season unlike any other. Whilst we in the theatre community have struggled to find ways to do what we love best, which was to join with our audiences during this pandemic. Undaunted, we have taken over this platform to bring us all together to see the third in a series of 3 free variety shows. Indeed, some of your favourite performers have prepared new versions of some of our popular shows in the last few years, and we have added some special readings, interviews and cooking demonstrations to give you a flavour of the holidays in Britain. Do we have panto? Yes, we do. Do we have musical? Yes, we do, and much, much more. But before we take the show up, we'd like to give a big shout out for those people who have made all this possible. Nicola Hogue, Missy Tessier, Matt Mills and Sue Mason Karaoke McElroy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy the final British Players Online Pandemic Spectacular.
Disappointed, I'm as sore as I can be. When the missus finds what's happened, she'll be more upset than me. There'll be no peace for me at home, it's sure to cause some strife. I've lost the only thing that seemed to charm our married life. I had it when I left the house at 10:30. I had it in me hand, all right. I showed it to a woman at the corner then. It filled her with delight. The wife will want to play with it when I get home, but I can't find it, oh no. It's sure to break her heart, it means we'll have to part when she finds I've gone and lost me little yo-yo. I did all kinds of tricks with it, could trail it on the ground. I could swing it up and swing it down and swing it round and round. I'll have to get another one, no matter what it costs. It may not please the missus like the one I've gone and lost. I had it when I left the house at 10:30. I had it in me hand, all right. I showed it to a woman at the corner then. It filled her with delight. The wife will want to play with it when I get home, but I can't find it, oh no. She'll take the only course and sue for a divorce when she finds I've gone and lost me little yo-yo. I showed it to Matilda, she's the barmaid at the Crown. I taught her how to play with it and toss it up and down. It really took her fancy, perhaps she's stolen it from me. I dare not tell the wife in case it causes misery. I had it when I left the house at 10:30. I had it in my hand, all right. I showed it to a woman at the corner then. It filled her with delight. The wife will want to play with it when I get home, but I can't find it, oh no. She'll miss it, there's no doubt. She's sure to throw me out when she finds I've gone and lost me little yo-yo.
One of the most revered holiday traditions is the presentation of holiday pantomime, or panto. That fabulous, funny, fantastic musical comedy full of slapstick comedy, romance, fairies and holiday joy. Some of your favourite performers from the last 4 years of Panto Productions have recorded new versions of the songs to entertain you this evening. And even though we can't hear you, remember that audience participation is mandatory. Yes, I said mandatory.
Ago I saw you, I looked up when you came through the door. My head started reeling, you gave me the feeling the room had no ceiling or floor. 10 minutes ago I met you, and we murmured our how do you do's. I wanted to ring out the bells, to fling out my arms, to sing out the news. I have found her, she's an angel, with the dust of the stars in her eyes. We are dancing, we are flying, and she's taking me back to the skies. In the arms of my love I'm flying, over mountain and meadow and glen. And I like it so well that for all I can tell, I may never come down again. I may never come down to earth again.
10 minutes ago I saw you, I looked up when you came through the door. My head started reeling, you gave me the feeling the room had no ceiling or floor. 10 minutes ago I met you, and we murmured our how do you do's. I wanted to ring out the bells and fling out my arms and to sing out the news. I have found him, he's an angel, with the dust of the stars in his eyes. We are dancing, we are flying, and he's taking me back to the skies. In the arms of my love I'm flying, over mountain and meadow and glen. And I like it so well that for all I can tell, I may never come down again. I may never come down to earth again. In the arms of my love I'm flying, over mountain and meadow and glen. And I like it so well that for all I can tell, I may never come down again. I may never come down to earth again.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can be, I can be greater. Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I can jump a hurdle.
I can wear a girdle.
I can knit a sweater.
I can fill it better.
I can do most anything.
Can you bake a pie?
No.
Neither can I.
Anything you can sing, I can sing sweeter.
I can sing anything sweeter than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
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 Can't.
Yes, I can.
No.
Yes, I can.
a place that I love even more than I usually do. And although I know it's a long road back, I promise you I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dream.
Each country and culture has special holiday fare, and the UK is no exception. We at the BP are fortunate to have among our ranks many fine cooks and celebrants, including Nicola Willis-Jones, a resident chef at the Pure Pasty Company in Falls Church, who will demonstrate for us her special recipes for mince pies.
Hello and welcome to Nick's Kitchen. Stop, thief! Yes, because I am Nick 1, because I am in the kitchen. Yes, it's the only time I'm allowed to be called Nick 1 unless it's Halloween. So we're back in the kitchen and we're going to make something that's so easy, even kids could do it. Oh, crikey, kids! Ah! This is an Australian dessert called White Christmas, and it is really, really easy. So these two wonderful people, George, take a bow. Sonia, take a curtsy. They are going to make White Christmas and show you how easy it is. So, George, come over here. But the first ingredient is 250 grams. I'm sorry you might not understand that, but this is an Australian recipe and they are metric. So 250 grams of coconut oil. It needs to be refined and solid, but then you have to melt it so it's not solid, so it can set, so it gets back to being soft. But you have to melt it down a little early if the children are going to be involved, so it can cool down so it's not dangerous. And then, what happens next, George?
All right, next we have 3 cups of Rice Krispies, and these are what it looks like, and we're just gonna put that in. After that, we have 1 cup of powdered milk. Just put that in there.
One big dump. Yes.
After that, we have 3/4 of confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar. All right. Oh, there's still a little bit on the bottom.
That will do.
Okay. There we go.
And you're going to give that a stir, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'll stir it up.
With our Australian flag. Give it a good stir, mix in all that oil into the powder and the Rice Krispies. Do you know what they call those in Australia?
I don't know.
Rice bubbles.
Oh.
All right, so that's starting to get mixed in. It's looking nice and white. That's the white part. But where's the Christmas part? Sonia, have you got Christmas hiding over there?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's pass it over to Sonia
Yeah.
so she can tell us what goes in next. Well done, George. Thank you.
Next up is 1 cup of desiccated coconut. Then 1 mixed cup of dried fruit. There are colors in here, golden and brown. Brownish purple. Ow, why are you sticking to the bowl?
It's sticky.
Okay, and then where the color comes in is red and green candied cherries.
And they are very sticky.
Yeah, I don't want to touch them.
All right, can you give that a stir? You might need to break that fruit down.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay, there we go.
Oh wow, Sonia, what great mixing. Look, now look how Christmassy it looks with the green and the red, the colours of Christmas, and the white Rice Krispies. So what are we going to do next, George?
We're gonna pour it into the pan and then put it into the refrigerator.
Okay, I'm going to hold this still. You guys want to pour it in the pan.
Ready?
See, and it is that simple, ladies and gentlemen, and children who are watching. That will do, and then just spread it out flat. And you know what you could do if you didn't want to have it flat in the pan? You could make them in the little paper cases and make little individual ones, like little muffin-sized ones, and put them in the fridge. So that is looking great. So why don't we let George take that over and put that in the fridge? And you put that on 0 degrees, 41 degrees, and you let that set till it's hard enough to cut. And look, here's one they made earlier. They practiced earlier, didn't you, kids?
Yes, we did.
Crikey! Now, you have a piece and you tell everyone how yummy that is.
Oh my gosh, it's so
It's
delicious.
amazing. It's amazing.
Simple, sweet, and delicious. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays!
Happy holidays!
Music hall shows started as an affordable form of live entertainment that started in the 1850s in England and remained popular through the turn of the century. Featuring singers, dancers, comedians and actors, music halls were a place to enjoy a pint, relax and sing along with the talented performers. Enjoy these music hall favourite performers with new versions of their best songs and some special holiday songs recorded just for this show. Here comes Music Hall.
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? what I hear? A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? In your palace wall, mighty king, do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere, listen to what I say. Pray for peace, people everywhere. Listen to what I say. The child, sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He'll bring us goodness and light.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year all our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who were dear to us, gather near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together, if the fates allow. Until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Stay safe, everybody.
Now the holly bears a berry as white as the milk, and Mary bore Jesus, who was wrapped up in silk. And Mary bore Jesus Christ, our Saviour, for to be. And the first tree in the greenwood, it was the holly. Holly, holly. And the first tree in the greenwood, it was the holly. Now the holly bears a berry as black as the coal, and Mary bore Jesus, who died on a cross. And Mary bore Jesus Christ, our Saviour, for to be. And the first tree in the greenwood, it was the holly. Holly, holly. And the first tree in the greenwood, it was the holly. Now the holly bears a berry as blood as the road, and trust we our Saviour, who rose from the dead. And Mary bore Jesus Christ, our Saviour, for to be. And the first tree in the greenwood, it was the holly. Holly, holly. And the first tree in the greenwood, it was the holly.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've gotta go away.
I can call you a ride.
This evening has been
So glad that you dropped it.
very nice.
Time spent with you is paradise.
My mama will start to worry.
I'll tell the car to hurry.
My daddy will be pacing the floor.
Wait, what are you still living at home for?
So really I better
Your
skirt.
driver's name is Marie.
Maybe just a half a drink more.
Okay, who's keeping score?
What will my friends think
They should rejoice.
if I have one more drink?
It's your body and your choice.
You really know how.
Your eyes are like starlight now. One look at you and then I fell.
I ought to say no, no, no.
You really ought to go, go,
I'm
go.
gonna say that I tried.
Murray, he just pulled up outside.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I simply should go.
Text me when you get home.
I'm supposed to say no.
That's respectable.
This welcome has been
So glad that you dropped
so
it.
nice and warm.
But you better go before it storms.
My sister will be suspicious.
Gosh, your lips look
My
delicious.
brother will be there at the door.
Baby, he's only 4.
My gossipy neighbors vicious.
Take the knishes.
But maybe just a cigarette more.
We're definitely gonna have to talk
I've
about
gotta
that.
get home.
I'm well aware.
Say, lend me a coat.
Keep it, girl, I don't care.
You've really been great.
It feels good to touch your hand. Can't you see it's not up to me?
Want to be talked tomorrow.
Let 'em talk, what do they
At
know?
least there will be plenty implied.
Let it slide.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Good evening. Basil Fawlty here, wishing you all a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year on behalf of the British players. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and anyone transitioning in between, a brief cooking lesson for a delightful holiday beverage I learned from BP member John Allnut. He introduced this seductive concoction he calls Uncle Andy's Eggnog to Neil and Sue's annual Christmas parties. And it was so successful, he suggested that I introduce this decadent witch's brew to Fawlty Towers guests, particularly if anyone becomes too troublesome. You will need a dozen eggs, 1.5 quarts of whipping cream, a quart of milk, 2 cups of confectioner's sugar, a quart of vanilla ice cream, 3 ounces of rum, and 1/5 of bourbon. Begin by separating the whites from the yolks. Not being racially insensitive here, and who better to demonstrate this than Polly with her extraordinary touch. Not exactly separated, but there are more eggs to go. Oh, very good. And now we pour the whipping cream into the egg whites. And now you whip it. Polly now adds the confectioner's sugar to the bowl of yolks. Careful, Polly, your mask is slipping. The other mask. Very good, Polly. And now you pour the quart of milk into the yolks and confectioner's sugar. Very good, Polly. You make it look so easy.
Oh, it is easy, Mr. Fawlty. You could do it.
I'll never do it like that in this lifetime. Now you add the miniature of rum. And now add 1/5 of whiskey. Let's see, where did I put that whiskey? Manuel! See? Bring me 1/5 of bourbon whiskey, please. And don't drop it. Now, while we wait for that, let's get out our quart of ice cream, shall we? We'll just put it in the microwave to soften it up a little bit. And now you scoop it into the bowl. Fold it in nicely. And then combine the yolks and the confectioner's sugar and the milk into the same bowl. And now we add 1/5 of bourbon. Let's see, what did I do with that? Manuel? See? Bring me that 1/5 of bourbon, will you? See? And try not to drop it. I said bourbon, not tequila, you nitwit.
He's tequila, Mr. Fawlty. He's no tequila, nitwit.
Bourbon! Like the 5th of Spain. Patience, Basil, patience. It is Christmas after all. Thank you, Manuel. Now you pour all of this into the bowl. I don't think I'll do it. Manuel, you're still holding the tequila. I don't need it. No, wait. I got an idea. Here. Here, Manuel. Take this up to Mrs. Richards' room. This should put her away for the night. And now you have a splendid Uncle Andy's eggnog for your Christmas guests. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Fawlty Towers.
As you all know, we Brits love our poetry and recitations. We claim as our own such masters of the pen as Byron, Blake, Kipling, Coward, Dickens, and of course Shakespeare, to name but a few. A favourite social event at the British Players host is our biannual Poems and Pints, where we gather to keep this time-honoured tradition alive. And here are some recent samples recited by members here and across the pond.
There never was such a goose. Bob said he didn't believe there ever was such a goose cooked. Its tenderness and flavour, size and cheapness were the themes of universal admiration. Eked out by the applesauce and mashed potatoes, it was a sufficient dinner for the whole family. Indeed, everyone had had enough, and the youngest Cratchits in particular were steeped in sage and onion to the eyebrows. But now, the plates being changed by Miss Belinda, Mrs. Cratchit left the room alone, too nervous to bear witnesses, to take the pudding up and bring it in. Suppose it should not be done enough. Suppose it should break in turning out. Suppose somebody should have gone over the wall of the backyard and stolen it while they were merry with the goose, a supposition at which the two young Cratchits became livid. All sorts of horrors were supposed. Hello, a great deal of steam. The pudding was out of the copper. A smell like a washing day. That was the cloth. A smell like an eating house. In half a minute, Mrs. Cratchit entered, flushed but smiling proudly, with the pudding like a speckled cannonball, so hard and firm, blazing in ignited brandy, and adorned with Christmas holly stuck into the top. Oh, a wonderful pudding, Bob Cratchit said, and calmly too, that he regarded it as the greatest success achieved by Mrs. Cratchit since their marriage. Mrs. Cratchit said that now the weight was off her mind, she would confess she had had her doubts about the quantity of flour. Everybody had had something to say about it, but nobody said or thought it was at all a small pudding for a large family. Any Cratchit would have blushed to hint at such a thing. At last, the dinner was all done. The cloth was cleared, the hearth swept, and the fire made up. The compound in the jug being tasted and considered perfect, apples and oranges were put upon the table, and a shovelful of chestnuts on the fire. Then all the Cratchit family drew round the hearth, and at Bob Cratchit's elbow stood the family display of glass, 2 tumblers and a custard cup without a handle. These held the hot stuff from the jug, however, as well as golden goblets would have done, and Bob served it out with beaming looks, while the chestnuts on the fire spluttered and crackled noisily. Then Bob proposed, "A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us," which all the family re-echoed. "God bless us, everyone," said Tiny Tim, the last of all.
A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas. One Christmas was so much like another in those years around the Seatown corner, now and out of all sound, except the distant speaking of voices I sometimes hear a moment before sleep, that I can never remember whether it snowed for 6 days and 6 nights when I was 12, or whether it snowed for 12 days and 12 nights when I was 6. All the Christmases rolled down toward the two-tongued sea, like a cold and headlong moon bundling down the sky that was our street, and they stop at the rim of the ice-edged fish-freezing waves, and I plunge my hands in the snow and bring out whatever I can find. In goes my hand into that wool-white bell-tongue ball of holidays, resting at the rim of the carol-singing sea, and out come Mrs. Prothero and the fireman. It was on the afternoon of the day of Christmas Eve, and I was in Mrs. Prothero's garden waiting for cats with her son Jim. It was snowing. It was always snowing at Christmas. December, in my memory, is white as Lapland, though there were no reindeers. But there were cats, patient, cold and callous, our hands wrapped in socks. We waited to snowball the cats, sleek and long as jaguars and horribly whiskered. Spitting and snarling, they would slink and sidle over the white back garden walls, and the lynx-eyed hunters, Jim and I, fur-capped and moccasined trappers from Hudson Bay, off Mumbles Road, would hurl our deadly snowballs at the green of their eyes. The wise cats never appeared. We were so still, Eskimo-footed Arctic marksmen, in the muffling silence of the eternal snows, eternal ever since Wednesday, that we never heard Mrs. Prothero's first cry from her igloo at the bottom of the garden. Or, if we heard it at all, it was to us, like the far-off challenge of our enemy and prey, the neighbour's polar cat. But soon the voice grew louder. "Fire!" cried Mrs. Prothero as she beat the dinner gong. We ran down the garden with our snowballed arms towards the house, and smoke indeed was pouring out of the dining room, and the gong was bombulating, and Mrs. Prothero was announcing ruin like a town crier in Pompeii. They were better than all the cats in Wales, standing on the wall in a row. We bounded into the house laden with snowballs, and stopped at the open door of the smoke-filled room. Something was burning all right. Perhaps it was Mr. Prothero, who always slept there after midday dinner with a newspaper over his face. But he was standing in the middle of the room saying, "A fine Christmas," and smacking at the smoke with a slipper. "Call the fire brigade," cried Mrs. Prothero. She beat the gong. "They won't be there," said Mr. Prothero. "It's Christmas." There was no fire to be seen, only clouds of smoke, and Mr. Prothero standing in the middle of them, waving his slipper as though he was conducting. "Do something," he said. We threw all our snowballs into the smoke. I think we missed Mr. Prothero and ran out of the house to the telephone box. "Let's call the police as well," Jim said, "and the ambulance, and Ernie Jenkins. He likes fires." But we only called the fire brigade, and soon the fire engine came, and 3 tall men in helmets poured a hose into the house, and Mr. Prothero got out just in time before they turned them on. Nobody could have had a noisier Christmas Eve, and when the firemen turned off the hose and we were standing in the wet, smoky room, Jim's aunt, Miss Prothero, came downstairs and peered in at them. Jim and I waited very quietly to hear what she would say to them. She says the right thing always. She looked at the 3 tall firemen in their shining helmets, standing among the smoke and cinders and dissolving snowballs, and she said, "Would you like anything to read?"
Wise men say only fools rush in, for I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it shows some things are meant to be. Take my hand,
and take my whole life too. If I can help falling in love with you, if I can't help falling in love with you.
To Mrs. K, on her sending me an English Christmas plum cake at Paris. What crowding thoughts around me wake, what marvels in a Christmas cake! Ah, say, what strange enchantment dwells enclosed within its odorous cells? Is there no small magician bound, encrusted in its snowy mound? For magic surely lurks in this, a cake that tells of vanished bliss, a cake that conjures up to view the early scenes when life was new, when memory knew no sorrows past, and hope believed in joys that last. Mysterious cake whose folds contain life's calendar of bliss and pain, that speaks of friends for ever fled, and wakes the tears I love to shed. Oft shall I breathe her cherished name, from whose fair hand the offering came, for she recalls the artless smile of nymphs that deck my native isle, of beauty that we love to trace, allied with tender, modest grace, of those who, while abroad they roam, retain each charm that gladdens home, and whose dear friendships can impart a Christmas banquet for the heart.
This is the time of parties, and we all have to write thank you notes, so I thought I'd share with you one of mine. Mrs. Loughborough Goodby gives weekends, and her weekends are not a success. But she asks you so often, you finally soften and end up by answering yes. When I left Mrs. Loughborough Goodby, the letter I wrote was polite, but it would have been bliss had I dared write her this, the letter I wanted to write. Thank you so much, Mrs. Loughborough Goodby. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that infinite weekend with you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Loughborough Goodby. Thank you a lot. And don't be surprised if you suddenly should be quietly shot for the clinging perfume and the damp little room, for the cocktail so hot and the bath that was not, for those guests so amusing and mentally bracing who talked about racing and racing and racing. From the ptomaine I got from your famous pink salmon, and the money I lost when you taught me backgammon. For the mornings I spent with your dear, bar to deaf, mother, and the evenings I passed with that bounder, your brother, and for making me swear to myself there and then never to go for a weekend again. Thank you so much, Mrs. Loughborough Goodby. Thank you so much. And talking of parties, I've just written a letter to my friend Tessa about a party I recently attended. Last Wednesday night, I went to a marvellous party with Pauline, Peter, and Claire. It was in the fresh air, and we went as we were, and we stayed as we were in the fresh air. Missy started singing at midnight and didn't stop singing till 4. We knew the excitement was bound to begin when Carol got blind on Dubonnet and gin and scratched her veneer with a Cartier pin. Oh, I couldn't have enjoyed it more. I've been to a marvellous party. We played a wonderful game. Angela disappeared and came back in a beard, and we all had to guess at her name. Robert arrived wearing armour, some shells, and a black feather boa. Poor Sarah wore a surrealistic comb made of bits of mosaic from St. Peter's in Rome, but the wait was so great she had to go home. Oh, I couldn't have enjoyed it more. I've been to a marvellous party. I must say the fun was intense. We all had to do what the people we knew would be doing 100 years hence. We talked about growing old gracefully. And Margaret, who's 74, said, A, it's a matter of being sincere, and B, if you're supple, you've nothing to fear. And she swung upside down from a glass chandelier. Oh, I couldn't have enjoyed it more. On Wednesday last, I went to a marvellous party. We did not sit down until 10. You know, Bert Coyer did a stint at the bar with a lot of extraordinary men. Nicola arrived with a turtle, which shattered us all to the core. And Katie passed out at 2:45, and John Barclay Burns cried fiddly-dee and tore off his clothes and ran into the sea. Oh, I couldn't have enjoyed it more. I've been to a marvellous party. Jill made an entrance with John. You'd never have guessed, from her fisherman's vest, that her bust, now whittled away, was gone. Poor Julia got fried on Chianti and talked about esprit de corps. Anne made a couple of passes at Chuck, and Mike, who doesn't like any kind of a fuss, did half the Big Apple and twisted his truss. Oh, I couldn't have enjoyed it more.
36 years ago in 1984, Bob Geldof, Major, and Bono had an idea. They got together a group of talented musicians to put a simple song together.
The song became an instant hit and raised millions of pounds for Africa's neediest population. Now, we are not Band-Aid, but we are trying to keep the arts alive at this socially distanced time in our lives.
If you've enjoyed the past 3 episodes of the Pandemic Holiday Spectacular, please consider a tax-exempt donation to the British Players so our organization can continue its mission to bring high-quality, traditional British theatre to the Washington, D.C. area.
Now, enjoy and sing along to our version of Feed the World.
It's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid. At Christmas time, we let in light and we banish shade.
And in our world of plenty, we can spread a smile of joy. Throw your arms around the world at Christmas time.
But say a prayer, pray for the other ones. At Christmas time, it's hard, but when you're having fun, there's a world outside your window, and it's a world of dread and fear, where the only waters flowing are the bitter sting of tears. And the Christmas bells that ring there are the clanging chimes of doom. Well, tonight, thank God, it's them instead of you. And there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time. The greatest gift they'll get this year is life. Oh, where nothing ever grows, no rain or
looking at the players that the amazing and talented pianist Sue Mason McElroy has provided all our artists with their music for your holiday spectacular. But we decided she deserved a moment in the spotlight too. Here performing for us from her Silver Spring studio and recorded by Neil Hotsticks is of course Sue Mason Karaoke McElroy.
Greetings everyone, my name is Alan Brown. I have been in the United States for over 25 years, but I am still a proud Scotsman. No festive season would be complete in Scotland without Hogmanay. Hogmanay is our New Year's Eve traditions. It includes first footing, a time where friends and neighbours put their first foot over your doorstep to wish you your wealth, your health and your happiness for the coming year. It's also a time where we sing a Scottish song, Auld Lang Syne by Robbie Burns. Robbie Burns is celebrated annually in Scotland around about the 25th of January. This is the anniversary of his birth. And we usually come together for a meal. The meal will include the haggis. The haggis was Robbie Burns' favourite food, and he gave a poem dedicated to it. It's called The Address to the Haggis. And here is my version of the Address to the Haggis. Fair for your honest, sonsy face. great chieftain o' the puddin' race. Abun the ma, ye take your place, page, tribe, or fair. We'll are ye worthy o' grace, as long as my hair. The groaning trencher, there he fell. Your hardies, like a distant hill. Your pin would help to mend a mill in time of need. And through your pores, the dews distill like amber bead. His knife, see rustic labour dicht, and cut you up with ready slick. Trenching your gushing entrails brecht like ony ditch. And then, oh, what a glorious sight. Warm reeking. Rich. And then, horn for horn they stretch and strive. You'll take the hindmost, on they strive, till other wheel-swallowed kites belive are bent like drums, and all good man mayst like to rive, bethank it hums. Is there that o'er his French ragout, or olio that would stow a sou, or fricassee that would make her spew with perfect scunner? Look down with sneering, scornful view on sick a dinner. Poor deal, see him o'er his trash, as feckless as a withered rash, his spindle shaft a gid whiplash, his knave a net, or bloody flood or field to dash, oh how unfit! But mark, the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread, clapping his wally knave a blade, he'll mark it whistle, and legs and arms and heads'll sned like taps o' thistle. Ye powers will make mankind your care, and dish them out their bill of fare. Old Scotland wants no skinking ware that jumps in luggies. But if you want her grateful prayer, gie her a haggis.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutter, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away all. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished in ashes and soot. Ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had slung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. Dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose, chin like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
Ho, ho, ho!
He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word and went straight to his work and filled all the stockings and turned with a jerk. And laying a finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down on a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Merry Christmas.
Thank you for joining us for this unprecedented production. We hope it has brought you joy and entertainment to your family. We invite you now to join with all of us in singing some traditional English carols to close out our evening. I say good night, God bless, and Merry, Merry Christmas.
Jesus Christ our Savior was born upon this day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and wish you a Merry